Hello guys, welcome to episode 46 of the series, and it's time to book the December 2nd edition of Impact. Not book, but review it. And this is the go home show for the last pay-per-view of the year, Final Resolution, which is on December 5th. So let's quickly move on to the show. This of course was the last show, November 25th show, last week's show. The takeaway here was that Bischoff revealed himself to be the special enforcer for Anderson and the Pope at Final Resolution, since it was there was a report from the investigation where it was apparent that Hebner took a bribe from Dinero. That's why he did a quick count. So Bischoff made sure that Hebner was fired from TNA, and basically Bischoff doesn't trust anybody in the back to handle this match, so he puts himself as the special enforcer. Then we got a bunch of other stuff. I'm not gonna recap everything, of course. I'm just gonna recap the most important moments. The other takeaway was the fact that Sting had thoughts about taking a hiatus, but Angle advised him to stay and to fight World Congregation together. They actually had a handicap match and they beat Devon, Creed, and Jordan. And the main event, Anderson actually got a deal with Lito to team up, but Lito was jumped by the Congregation guys. So Anderson actually came out expecting a handicap match, but the big news was the return of Scott Steiner as a babyface, and they actually teamed up, so they defeated Beer Money in the main event. But the show ended on a heel note, as they got attacked by members of the newly formed World Congregation. So this is what happened on last week's show. Let's see what happened on this week's show, and basically in the go home show for the pay-per-view. Mr. Anderson opened the show and he called Dinero a coward and accused him of having insecurities. That's why he surrounds himself with all these guys, because he was never successful on his own, I guess. This is his theory. Anderson called out Bischoff and asked him how is he supposed to trust him in his role as an enforcer, since Bischoff is the one who actually hired Hebner in the first place and catered to Dinero's demands for Turning Point. So Bischoff will explain that he had no idea Hebner was corrupted. He was just trying to make the show better. And since Bischoff found out that that Hebner did what he did, there's nobody in the back that he can have confidence in, which is actually pretty bad, since that means you can't trust anybody, like not even referees, not even road agents. So Bischoff actually suggested to do this. He'll book Anderson versus a member of the World Congregation tonight, and he'll be the referee, so he can eliminate any doubt in his mind that he is not biased, and he's gonna call it straight down the middle at the pay-per-view. Then we got Jay Lethal beating Orlando Jordan in a non-title match. Backstage, the Pope is gonna meet with Beer Money. He's gonna be disappointed about last week because Beer Money actually lost their match with Anderson and Steiner, and they failed to soften up Anderson. Beer Money, of course, are gonna be affected by this because Dinero actually chose Abyss and Gunnar over them in the first place to challenge Styles and Daniels at the pay-per-view for the tag team titles. So Dinero will explain that they can redeem themselves by beating Hardy and RVD at the pay-per-view because they will meet in a #1 contendership match there. So this is how we're gonna announce this match. Then an open challenge for X Division Championship. Austin Aries is gonna defeat Creed via Brainbuster and a last chancery. Then we finally start the hype video surrounding Carlito's arrival. I got Carlito like a month back when WWE fired him. and I already have a plan of incorporating him into the show, and I'm probably gonna use Carlitos Cabana as well. When I was little and I was watching WWE, I was a big fan of Carlito and the Carlitos Cabana, so that's why I have wrote here he's bringing the Cabana. But Carlito is not gonna debut next week. He's probably gonna debut at the end of the month. We still need to have free space to develop the main storylines and to have a fallout from the pay-per-view. Then we get another video that is hyping the final debut of Crimson in the Feast or Fire match. So that's where he'll make his debut. Then we get a typical 8-man tag team before the pay-per-view. Abyss and Gunner team up with Beer Money, and actually they're the World Congregation. They'll defeat Styles and Daniels and Hardy and RVD when Gunner pinned Styles. So actually Gunner is gonna pin one of the tag team champions leading up to the pay-per-view. Then we have a match with Low-Key, who had his debut 2 or 3 weeks back answering Aries' open challenge. He will defeat Kazarian when Joe's music will hit and will distract Kazarian. This will further their feud. Then we have a backstage segment where Dinero will have instructions for Devon, who's the chosen one to take on Anderson in tonight's main event. Dinero will want Devon to soften up Anderson before a pay-per-view. Then we get a promo from Gail Kim on Angelina Love, and he'll talk about beating her and becoming a new KO champion. Then Matt Morgan is gonna defeat Magnus via DQ when Williams interferes and attacks Morgan, but actually Tom Cole made the save. Team Fight Club will come out. Eric Young is gonna say that they attacked Aries because they wanted him on their side. It's not because they wanted the X title or something else. Aries responded saying he's a lone wolf, and he actually proceeded to attack all three of them, all three of Eric Young, Homicide, and Hernandez, but actually he will get beaten down. Why it's important? Because the whole idea surrounding this Fight Club stable is that EY wants to surround himself with like-minded people, and the idea behind this feud is not gonna be EY wants to become the X Division champion. It's gonna be that EY sees potential in Aries and wants to recruit him for his stable, but Aries of course is not gonna want any of this. Then we have the Feast or Fire qualifier. It's gonna be the final match from the qualifier series. Scott Steiner is gonna defeat Rob Terry, and this is how we will get him in this match. Then we have a promo from Devon on Jay Leto saying that he's going down on Sunday. He's also taking his global title. Then we get the confirmation from Mike Tenay that Austin Aries is gonna take on Eric Young for the X title at Final Resolution. In the main event, the guest referee is Bischoff, and the main event, Mr. Anderson is gonna defeat Devon when Eric is gonna eject his buddies Jordan and Creed. And after the match, Bischoff is gonna raise Anderson's hand, and Dinero will look pissed. And this is how we close the Go Home show before the Final Resolution pay-per-view. So I think the idea here is obvious, guys. The idea here is to present Bischoff in a more neutral light and kind of being on Anderson's side. So of course, if any of you watch wrestling, you know this is a setup for a swerve. But I think it's pretty obvious for a few weeks now that this is gonna end up, I guess, in a swerve. So this is the whole idea. The whole idea is for Bischoff to act really unbiased here and to kind of deceive Anderson that he's the right guy to enforce this match for the pay-per-view. So here is the card for the pay-per-view. We got the Feast or Fire match, where the participants so far are the ones that won the qualifier matches. So Zack Ryder, Scott Steiner, Robbie E, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Amazing Red, and Crimson, who is directly there. probably gonna add few more guys. I think this match consists of 8 or 10 guys, so they need to fight for 4 briefcases. So this may be like a battle royal, and then we are gonna review the briefcases either on the pay-per-view or on next week's Impact. Then we'll have a #1 contendership for the World Tag Team titles. Hardy and RVD are gonna take on Beer Money. This is also gonna be a rematch from Turning Point, where Beer Money got the win. Then we have a Masters Ball match between Samoa Joe and Kazarian. For the global title, Jay Leto is gonna take on Devon. Ric Flair is still absent from the show. I expect to have him make his return on the weeks leading up to Genesis. Then we'll have a tag team match between Morgan and Tamko and Douglas Williams and Magnus. For the World Tag Team titles, Styles and Daniels will take on Abyss and Gunner. Austin Aries will take on Eric Young for the X Division Championship, and in the main event, we'll have a 6 sides of steel match for a World Championship. This is a cage match with Eric Bischoff as the guest referee. The Angel Dinero is going to take on Mr. Anderson. So this is the card for the Sunday pay-per-view. Actually, I don't think it's a great card, but we need this type of a card to advance the feuds. Sometimes we can have good cards like Turning Point one. I don't think this show is going to turn out to be very good, but whatever. So this was the Go Home show. We got the pay-per-view on the next episode, and then we got, I think, 5 weeks of build till the end of the year, and then actually we get to 2011 and we start the 2011 with the Genesis pay-per-view. It's gonna be on January 9th. So that's all for now, guys. Stay tuned for the next episode.